Hello everybody. Here's the subject of the next, or several of my videos. 1991 Jeep Wrangler YJ 4.0 liter 5-speed. It's just my new toy I acquired. My dad bought two Jeeps at the same time, and I got this one from him. This one was a play toy for a 14-year-old's enjoyment on a farm. Talking about one rough puppy. The wheels you see out came on it when I bought it, but trust me, this was one rough puppy when I first got it. Anyway, the subject of this video is doing tune-ups. Of course, you know, this one runs a lot of the same old school ignitions. Got a distributor, standard spark plugs, rotor cap, rotor button. A lot of your newer cars now have coil on plug and all this such. This is old school, same as old school. It don't have points, condensers, or anything like that, but we'll get into that some other time. Here you see laying on the fender, distributor cap, wires, rotor button, spark plugs, and the associated tools. There's dielectric grease. This stuff is your best friend. Don't skimp on it. And gapping your plugs. Many manufacturers and many people say that, hey, you pull straight out of the box, that the gap is just fine on these. I don't agree with that. Hey, how much time does it take to actually check the gap on these to make sure they're right? My camera's not quite focusing just right, but hey, you get the point. You see that gap right here. Now, luckily enough on this vehicle, what you can do is look right over here. And you can see right there is the spark plug gap being 35 thousandths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the gap on each one of my plugs. I'll be right back. I'll get my filler gauge ready, and I'll be right back with you. Hey everyone. Alright, I want to show you. You've heard the whole thing about it. When you buy spark plugs, they're good straight out of the box. I totally 100% disagree. I showed you a moment ago that the gap is 35 thousandths on this Jeep here. And I'm using, this is the side of the door right here. I got soft doors on it. I'm using it so you can get a better contrast with the gap of the plugs. Not have all that clutter in the background. But you can see the gap there. Check it. This is straight out of the box. Look at there. Good fit, nice fit, 35 thousandths. How do I know it's 35 thousandths? Because this is just your run-of-the-mill cheap, like you get AutoZone or wherever, or you need your better O'Reilly's. O'Reilly's where I go most of the time. It's like a block away from me. Look right there, 20 thousandths, 15 thousandths. Add them together, squeeze them together, you got 35 thousandths. Now the reason why I disagree with about checking your plugs are good straight out of the box. Look at here. Imagine this. These things leave the manufacturers. They get beat up, bounced around, thrown on the back of trucks, thrown on the shelf. Look at that gap is completely closed. So at this point, could you open it up and guess? Yeah, you probably could, and probably get close enough to be alright. But when this one's closed up, it's going to take a little special treatment. Get you a pair of needle nose pliers. You hold it right there just a little bit lightly and just barely bend it. Be easy with it, because I mean, you want to try to keep a tip as perpendicular to this surface as much as possible. Alright, we have it bent in shape enough to get our filler gauge inside there to check them. Oh, look at that. It's a little on the loose side. Now, some of your better gappers actually have a little gapping tool that you can hook this tip with. And I've got one in my shop there somewhere. This is the first one I grabbed. Alright, we're good now. Alright, we just gapped the spark plug. I'm going to do the remaining 6 like this, check them, make sure they're good, and I'll be right back with you, and we'll start putting on some parts. Thank you. Be right back. Alright everyone, spark plugs are gapped. And actually there was a couple of them that were very tight. So yes, they actually did need gaps straight out of the box. They, at least 3 of them, need regap to 35 thousandths. And like I showed you here, you can see the gap where it says 35 thousandths, right, spark plug gap right here. Many vehicles, you can look at that, you know, it's somewhere like on the hood of this Jeep here. Or sometimes there'll be, you know, one of these ID tags down here someplace. You can find that information that you need. If not, refer to your owner's manual or your service manuals, or ask a reputable mechanic. And some of your better auto parts stores will even be able to look that up for you, tell you what your gap needs to be. And what we're going to do next, what I typically like to do is I'm going to change the wires and spark plug at the same time. Then the last step what we'll do is I'll show you how to change the distributor cap without getting your wires all crossed up. So just work my way front to back. We're going to change this one right here first. I'm sorry I have to keep repositioning the camera. I'm basically out here working by myself as usual. I'm going to set this back up on the tripod, angle the camera to where you guys can kind of get a good bird's eye view of what I'm doing here. Be right back with you. Thanks. Okay, everybody, thanks for being patient with me setting up the camera and such. Alright, here's our first cylinder here. Now that it's number one, I'm just going to work my way front to back just for simplicity's sake. First thing we want to do is we're just going to pull this wire off. There it is. And they are nasty on the inside. Mind you, this was a 14-year-old's play toy on a farm. I got lucky enough to get hold of it from my dad. He purchased two Jeeps at the same time. And I'm having to resurrect it. Let me go grab an extension. Be right back. Alright, if you guys notice, I've got a modified socket here. And the only reason I'm showing you this has nothing to do with this vehicle. My Mustang that I got an 84 GT that I toy with a lot. One of the headers is kind of tight getting into it. So this particular socket was dropping my mill. I ran a 3/8 end mill bit through here. It gaps the plug for me, so this one certain spot on my headers on the Mustang, I can take and drop a plug in like this and come straight onto it. I don't have to come away from back here side or any kind of weird angles. I can just slide in like this and come straight into it. My favorite socket, and of course spark plugs don't have to be tight, so it's not that big of an issue as far as strength. Anyway, back to the Jeep. Alright, we're going to take this plug out now. Do a light bump on your ratchets, it'll help break them loose. Once you get them broke loose, come right out behind. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever heard about reading plugs. If you take a look at that one, see it's got that nice grayish color to it. The backside looks like it's burning a little bit rich on this backside, but right through here it's got the nice grayish color, so it's burning pretty cleanly. We've got some oil deposits and such, kind of a black film right here. I'm sorry, got it off the camera. Got a little bit of blackness right here going on, and black around here. This Jeep does use a little bit of oil. Like I said, it was a beat up farm toy when I got hold of it. It has been seriously abused before I got it, and I'm trying to bring it back to a good decent life. Not that I haven't had it in the creek yet or anything. No, I wouldn't do that. Alright, new plug. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to go pull this wire on off. Okay. Proper wire. Alright, we're going to match up to one of these. Let me zoom the camera back here for a moment. Okay, we're going to look. Not that one. You got to kind of sort through your wires to figure out exactly which one you want to use. You got straight through here, so we got straights here, straight here, straight, and these are angle boots. So we take these out of the elimination. Alright. I'm sorry, my camera ain't wider angle than it is. Alright. These wires I have here. Hang this one in with them. Compare your length. See right here? Right there is going to be your wire, because that's the closest length between all the group of wires that was purchased. Fold them up like so you can see that they're the same length. That's how I match my wires up. It's quick, simple, and easy. Now, this right here, got silicone dielectric compound. Later on in life, if you ever have to pull your spark plug boots, this will save you a lot of trouble. Oftentimes your boots will stick to your plugs and they're ridiculous to get off. course, didn't have the little tear tab on this one, so I'm going to do this hard way. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze a little bit out of here. And it really doesn't take a whole lot to do this. A little bit around there. It really doesn't take a whole lot. Do a demo again because I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had that off the camera. A little bit there, a little bit there. This will prevent your boots from sticking to your plugs. Alright, we're going to put this back in. We're going to put this one in. Okay, hand tightened. Zoom that in a little bit better there for you. I put it in, it's just hand tight at this point. Set my ratchet to tighten. Okay, they're there to make contact. Just snug it. That's all you gotta do. Don't crank it too tight. I mean, honestly, that's not much at all right there. You want it, you feel it contact. You get on the inside, you know, you just put a little bit of pressure on your ratchet here, and you don't grip or nothing like that. You don't want to over torque it. Just enough pressure to get it good, really snug. Too tight, you'll strip the threads out of the head, or next time you have to pull that out of there, you've got a headache on your hands. So now we're going to put this on. You push, you feel it snap. And now the distributor cap, I'm going to change the distributor cap and rotor here in just a bit. So right now, I'm just going to set it on top of that. It's not snapped on yet. Now, basically at this point, you do all 6 plugs like this. Well, this is a 6-cylinder. You do all 6 plugs like this, all 6 cylinders, and then we'll get to the distributor cap. So I'm going to go ahead and change out all the rest of the wires. I showed you how to do the first one. The rest of them are just the same sequence. So I'll be back with you in just a moment after I change out the rest of these wires. I don't want to bore you guys to death or anything, so be right back. Thanks. Alright everybody, I got the plugs changed, the plugs and wires changed. Like I said, on the distributor cap, they're just kind of firmly pressed on, but not. Some may have snapped, some didn't. They're just kind of pushed on for right now because we're gonna change this. But the reason I did that, just to temporarily put them on there, you don't want to mess up your wiring order. Each one of these has a specific place it has to be, otherwise the engine will not run right. So I put them on there so I don't get my wires crossed up. When I change the cap, I just pick the cap up, put the wires on, put the new cap on, and just transfer the wires over. But you'll see that here in a moment. Now I want to point something out to you. I ran into this cylinder right back here as I was changing them. Was being a little bit difficult going back in. So old hot rodder trick. Just an old piece of vacuum. It's a big vacuum line that I pulled off a Mustang. Slipped over the end of the plug. Therefore, it's nice and flexible. You can get it twisted like this right here if you need to get it angled in or whatever. Put it in. Ship grabs right here. It just threads right into the head like that. This gives you a good firm grip to get into. It's small enough that it gets down inside the head. It's an easy trick. It works so well, and it just works. Now, the other thing I ran into. That came out of the engine. As soon as I pulled the boot off of it, it started cracking and falling apart. And all the dirty stuff's come down on the motor over there. So as I was taking it off and the socket was flexing on it, it went ahead and busted the rest of it off. But this insulation was already cracked and busted. One reason why it may have been running so rough. But I found something even worse. Not that busted insulation was bad, but the thing about it is the boot coming over the top of this right here. It's a different plug, by the way, as you see. The boot coming over there may have also been preventing it from arcing off to the head and causing any kind of misfires or such. So I may have had a chance of that not being one of the reasons. But look how nasty that plug right there is. That is a definite reason for it to be running rough. See all the corrosion on the tip here? Very definite reason for it to be running bad. Gaps almost closed up. Trash all over it. Could have been a fouled out wire, not letting this plug fire correctly. Could be several reasons. Be right back with you. Okay, let's change the distributor cap. What I've already done around the post here, that dielectric grease I showed you a moment ago. I'll get back up in the camera. I showed you right here. See, I don't know, the camera doesn't show it very well. Put that dielectric grease around there. It seals that moisture, keeps your contacts from corrosion or anything like that. It really, if you ever have to pull your boots, it helps a lot with that too. That it doesn't stick to the cap. Do use it. It will be your best friend. Now let's pull the old cap. A little bit more. Hey, well, I don't screw enough. Okay, look at the inside of the cap. I'll show you in a moment in detail, but the tips are definitely burnt. Pull the rotor button off. See all the blackness right here? Tips all burned up right here. Definitely do. Definitely do. Alright, but I got a new one. It's okay. See? New one. Alright, that's installed. And what you got to look at is on Jeeps anyway. This varies from one car from another. This little tab right here on the distributor, which is right there, you can see where I put that on. You see the little tab where it's kind of coming up and down. I'll show you. I pulled it up. Okay, you see how the tab right there is sticking up and down? If it's down inside of a groove inside that little metal can looking contraption right there, and when you push it down, it falls down inside of a groove. It keeps that rotor button from rotating. Well, let me correct that. It rotates with the whole distributor, but if it didn't fit down inside that groove right there, it would be rotating independently on its own, which is a very bad thing, by the way. But with that fitting down inside the groove, it'll rotate with that whole can piece right there. So, now, let's do the cap. Take note. See right here? Let's use that for a reference point. You'll see why, because what we're going to do is we're going to pull each wire from the cap and place it on the appropriate post on this cap. Pull from that one, put it on this one, in reference as to where the location is with this little vent right here. You'll see. Watch this. See, the little black post, Line them up, snap it on. Next one, black post here. Next one line. Some of them snapped on better than I thought they did. Here. You see, it's okay to snap them down now. Around this way. Got my own hands in the way. This one. It goes here. Off this one. And it goes here. Hold the moves out of the way. Set this down. Notice the screws here and here. Some of them have a little tab on them that prevents you from putting them on the wrong way. Put them on there, put that on there. Screwdriver. Over this side, get it started. Snug it up good, but not tight, not ridiculous tight. You don't want to crack the cap. There. One more good push, make sure they're all snapped on correctly. Now we still got one more wire. That will be the coil wire. But one thing I found whenever I pulled this off, the coil down below here, this is where I did a shoestring. The coil right here, the post right here on the coil has some corrosion on it. Drywall sanding block, I love these things. Clean that post up good. Get a little grease. Put it in the post. Oh, lost my coil wire for a moment. Alright, let's put the coil wire on. Snake it up from the bottom here. Bring it in here. Snap. Heard it snap on. Push it on here. And it snapped there. Alright everybody, we have just changed the plugs, wires, distributor cap, and rotor on a 91 Jeep. Pretty quick, pretty easy, pretty simple. Now I want to show you something on the post, and I don't know how well it picks up. Inside here you can see these little black spots on all these posts. This cap is burnt. It probably could have survived a little longer, but luckily they used the brass post caps, and they actually tend to be a little better than the others. I'm not a fan of the aluminum posts, but it was definitely time to be changed. Well, everyone, I thank you for checking out my video, and this is concluding for how to give a Jeep a tune-up. This particular tune-up session fits a lot of the older generation cars. You know, not your cars that's got coil-on plugs or your multi-fire ignitions and such, but just your old school distributor cap rotor setup. This is how it's done. Thank you everyone for watching the video. Check out more when you get a chance. Thank you. Chuck from PowerAxe.com. Y'all have a great day.